my first question is for both of you, Jake and Yahya. Is my pronounce correct, Yahya?
That was good.
It was really good. I don't say it right, so you got it better than me.
That was good. I don't even say it like that. Wow.
Sorry that I brought you into this. I just wanted things to be the way they used to be.
This is a pretty intense movie, from the assault at the bank until the very end. How was it to shoot those scenes in the ambulance, man? Did you feel like you were characters in Grand Theft Auto, GTA, the game? There's actually a joke about it.
You know what? I hadn't thought about it, but now that you're saying, I had so much fun filming this movie. And I'm gonna just say, like, I kind of needed this movie too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a tough spot for a lot of people, you know, just in the world. And I think we were so fortunate to be able to be working on this film in a safe way. And it was very, very exciting and energizing. You know, we were really able to lean into the imaginary circumstances and to go on that excited ride. And I saw the film, and so much of that was captured in the movie. But for sure, the Grand Theft Auto, vibes definitely play in this one.
Yeah, except you don't get stuck in an ambulance for an entire section of Grand Theft Auto. I don't think I really thought it through, what it was going to be like to film like a majority of a movie in an ambulance. There are a lot of sharp edges in an ambulance that I had no idea about. And I think about the people who actually do the real jobs and who save people's lives while trying to function in that small space. I mean, acting was hard in that for me. So I have to say, I give it up to the people who do the real thing. It's extraordinary.
And I've always liked crime movies, a good bank robbery. I've always wanted to do a good bank robbery. My whole idea of doing this was to do a movie. It's totally about tension. One decision, you can change your entire life. How Will makes that one bad decision for a justifiable reason, and it all goes south. I was actually developing a story about a crime that goes bad, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you feel like it's like 3 hours of time. I was developing where I wanted people to feel like they're in the middle of the crime. And what would you do if you're a bad guy, good person? It's a mix of people and from your different perspectives. I wanted something fast to do. It was in the middle of COVID. COVID was the height. Los Angeles was the height of the world of COVID at that point that I started the movie. Literally, LA was locked down. And they thought I was crazy enough to do a movie. But it sort of worked for us. In that movie, basically every single cop you see, there's a couple actors, the rest are all real elite LAPD. So it's got a very authentic thing going on. All the snipers, SWAT teams, everyone's real.
Físicamente esta película fue muy dura para mí, porque yo estaba volando atrás de la ambulancia todo el tiempo, entonces tenía 1000 moretones en las piernas, físicamente estaba muy cansada, terminaba los días muy agotada, y aparte son escenas muy emocionales, entonces it was challenging.
¿Cómo te preparaste para ser la personaje Cam? ¿Conversaste con alguien que trabaja en ambulancia, en hospitales?
Total, sí, 4 meses de preparación diaria, hablando con enfermeros, paramédicos, cirujanos, aprendiendo todas las palabras obviamente médicas, términos, ¿sabes? El insight in detail lingual que tienen los médicos entre ellos. Fue un proceso increíble, aprendí muchísimo del cuerpo humano, aprendí muchísimo de qué hacer en ciertas circunstancias, me subí a ambulancias, estuve siguiendo a paramédicos por mucho tiempo y teníamos una paramédica, Dani, en el set todos los días que nos daba claridad de qué se hacía, qué no se hacía, qué podíamos hacer, porque la prioridad de todos es que más que nada toda la parte médica fuera muy real y muy honesta, sobre todo por los tiempos en los que estábamos viviendo en el momento, y tenemos que honrar a la gente que se ha dedicado a arriesgar sus vidas para salvarnos más que nunca, y me siento muy orgullosa de poder traer a Cam a la vida porque es un personaje muy especial.
It felt like a small independent indie movie that we were doing in the back of an ambulance, and then I see the humongous explosion. I was like, oh, it's still a Michael Bay movie.
People always expect a lot of action in your movies, and of course there is a lot of action in Ambulance, but also a lot of drama, real drama between the brothers. Was it something that attracted you to this project besides the action?
Well, for one, it's like, how do you weirdly make bad guy's likable. And Jake he's so charming. He's off his rocker, but he's charming. You just sort of like the guy. And Will is just automatically sympathetic because he's just made the worst decision of his life. It's just how things spiral out of control.
I love the character in this movie because his intentions are actually good. He just grew up in an environment where, people taught him the wrong things, but he loves his brother really deeply. And I do believe that he's really trying to get his brother somewhere safe for his family and get the money for his family. Like, I never ever thought it was any other way. I just think he has a very hard time of expressing himself. The coolest thing about this movie is who's the hero in the end.
Well, I think Will is a casualty of circumstance, I think. And he's definitely he's in a sticky predicament. It's sort of a damn if you do, damn if you don't. And drastic times calls for drastic measures. And so I think that's what makes Will as a character so complex, is because there's love attached to each side of his decisions. Once he says yes to the opportunity, there's not really a way for him to win unless everybody survives. That sort of becomes, impossible. But then it's fun to see how a character like that negotiates those situations. I think that's where the real excitement and drama comes in. And you get to see how the love plays on his heart and how the excitement makes him feel like himself again, and then remorse and all of the stakes.
I'm gonna get you back home, little brother. I'm gonna get everybody home.